just seems to lift those players around him, doesn't he? That
Yeah.
front four now is actually a really good, solid, consistent unit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here we go. Welcome to the Pompey Pod. I am Mike. This is Dan. He is back. Paulie boy is back. He's still a little bit poorly though, Dan, aren't you? Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, I've got a cold
Uh,
this time, so that's good. Yeah.
oh, is it? Oh, I just thought it was a continuation of, but
Oh
it's
no, this
different,
is
is it?
this is different to what I had last week.
Oh,
It's all
blimey.
happening, but it's all happening before Christmas, isn't it?
Oh
So
yeah, get out of the way.
let's get it out of the way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Good. Look at the positives. Always look at the positives. And speaking of positives, 4 points from 2 home games. You'd take that, wouldn't you? I think, it would have been nice to have got the winner against Norwich, but
Yep.
4 points from 2 games. It's good stuff, isn't it?
Sheets.
2 clean sheets. Absolutely. Solid. Thoughts. Bristol City and Norwich. Let's start with Bristol City, shall we?
Go on then.
Okay, go on. So
Yeah.
very good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought we were on it from the first minute, weren't we?
Yeah.
We could have
Thought it was
scored in the first minute as well. With Regan
Mm.
Paul had a kind of stabbed at it, didn't he? But I thought we were excellent, and I don't know if this is the thing where we've got into a situation whereby obviously we've sometimes been pummeled and been a little bit lucky in games. When you play a team like Bristol City, you're a comfortable mid-table side, as are Norwich, but particularly in the Bristol City game, we look very good from the off, and I wonder whether it's partly down to them not being on it. But I'm going to give Pompey the positives and say we were
Yeah.
actually good.
Yeah.
What do you
No, I
think?
think both games good, and you know we restricted 2 top half championship teams to few chances, which
Yep.
was was completely the opposite to what we've been doing for the first few games of the season. So yeah, I thought they were good, solid performances. I thought the Bristol City keeper did some cracking saves as well. Did a couple of
Yes.
really
Yeah.
good saves, didn't he?
Yeah.
You'd be
Very good point.
very happy if he was your keeper. But yeah, I thought Bristol City, especially to come in at half time 1-0 up. And then I think sort of just after that, which we've done quite a lot this season, after we got the first goal, we sort of sat back a bit, let them start playing a bit. And then the second half, I think we started a little bit slowly. But then after we got that second goal, I thought it was quite comfortable.
Yeah. And actually, we could have had a couple more, couldn't we? Because Lang had that really good chance, which I thought, kind of a good save by the keeper, but I think the save was made easier by Lang. Just, I don't know.
Too much
I
time
just
in it.
felt
Too much time.
it was too much time. And it almost like he tried to double bluff the keeper, and I just think he should have gone
Yeah.
across the keeper or
Yeah.
just done a little dink of some sort. But he tried to then put it near post, and he just caught his leg. But yeah, I thought we were really comfortable. There was that
Yeah.
10-minute spell, wasn't there, just before half time. And I
That's
think
right.
that was partly down to us inviting the pressure, just giving the ball away. We did it a little bit like with that against Norwich last night as well, whereby we got a little bit panicky and just started booting it out. And there's no one to boot it to, and it's just coming straight back at us. But other than that, I thought actually we were very relaxed in a way.
Yeah. It seemed to be. Yeah. It was much more relaxed than we have been. Just sort of controlling the game, which is nice to see. And I thought Bishop was class against Bristol City as well. I thought
Yeah.
he made a massive difference. Not just the
Well,
assist, but just
yeah.
everything is build up. His whole can't think of the word.
He suits the pressing game
Hold
that we
up
play,
play.
doesn't he?
Sorry, hold up
Yeah,
play.
his hold
Yeah,
up play. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And suits the pressing game. Yeah, definitely, because you've got someone up there that's going to run.
Yeah, absolutely. And non-stop throughout the whatever he's playing, 70, 80 odd minutes at the moment. Speaking of Bishop, so since he's been back, 8 points, 4 games. I don't think that's that much of a coincidence. It was kind of we were starting to come together. We just missed. If you think in particular, I'd say the Plymouth game where we just didn't really have a focal point up front, but we kind of didn't create a massive amount, but we played well. We harried them. We probably should have won the game. We ended up losing 1-0 because we didn't create enough chances and we didn't take anything. But I think the difference with someone like Bishop up front, it just seems to lift those players around him, doesn't he? That front four now is actually a really good, solid,
Mm.
consistent unit, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think it's just the way he's been playing as well, just that he seems to his whole game seems to have been a lot better. Is the way he's knocking the balls off. He's
Mm.
not just all about barging into defenders and winning free kicks and getting the flick-ons. I mean, that ball for Murphy for his goal against
Yeah,
Bristol
lovely.
City was, yeah. So
Perfectly
yeah, really
weighted.
good, really good. Just hope that he can continue and stay injury free, because we didn't think
Yeah,
he'd be back. Sort of, we knew he wasn't going to be. Well, we didn't expect him to be back this quick, and we certainly didn't think he'd be starting games
yeah, yeah.
and playing as long as he is. So
But
let's just hope.
there's a moment last night where I can't remember, it was around that 65-ish minutes, I think, whereby he went into a challenge and afterwards he was kind of holding his ankle. He seemed to be limping
Yeah,
around a little bit. And I thought, oh God, that's no, come
mm,
on. We
yeah,
don't need that. But actually, obviously, he recovered and carried on playing for another 10 minutes or so. It didn't seem, it was obviously just a knock and rather than a twist or anything like that. And he didn't see with the initial kind of holding of his ankle, he seemed to run it off pretty quickly. So thankfully, that wasn't, and it didn't seem to be anything more. The style of play, it's obviously it's completely different how we played last season. It's completely different how we started the season, but fair play to Mousinho. He's obviously spotted that we were playing ourselves into trouble. We weren't able to get away with it like we did last season quite often. We're not able, if we go behind, it's difficult to come back in these games when you're playing against much better opposition. So we're kind of attacking teams from the off. We're not too fussed about having the ball that much, but what we are doing is we're putting teams under a hell of a lot of pressure, and that is in many ways Lang, particularly Lang and Richie, I think epitomise that. The amount of shouting Richie does on the game is
Did you hear
incredible,
him
isn't it?
last night? Did you hear him?
Yeah,
You
he
could
was
hear him
hoarse by the
screaming,
end of
can't
it.
you? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's absolutely hoarse.
yeah.
But that said, do you know what I also was really impressed with was Potts. Potts is, bearing in mind he's a young lad. Not only his gameplay, but how much he commands that midfield. He's actually
Mm,
talking constantly to people around him,
yeah,
which I thought was really impressive. But I think that style kind of suits our game, and actually it suits this division in a way from a survival point of view. Because if
yeah,
you look, teams just haven't got the time, and even if you think Bristol City in particular, and to a degree Norwich last night. Bristol City in particular, though, you think two of our goals came from them trying to play it out
yep,
still, even in the
hmm
60, 65th minute,
yeah,
still trying to play it out, not understanding how much that press is coming in. And obviously the first goal straight from that, wasn't it? The goalkeeper rolled
yeah,
it out,
hmm
two tackles later, and it's a goal. And also the one where Lang kind of intercepted, and
yeah,
the goal you spoke about, Murphy's goal, where they then went on to Bishop and through. But it's all kind of coming together. And I think Murphy as well. He's we've talked about Murphy earlier in the season, and yes, I don't think he was doing everything that people were saying he was, but I think he's now getting it, isn't he?
yeah.
He's
He seems to be. He is, his crossing is still sort of like one in five is a good cross, but he's now using his pace, isn't he? And he's getting at defenders, and you realise just how quick he is now.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely,
but yeah, that ball for Lang for the third goal was really
yeah,
good against Bristol City.
excellent, very very
So
good.
yeah, that's all he needs to do, isn't it? Get one good cross in.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think also what is a good part of his game is that's what we expect from him. We expect from him going forward to have that little bit of quality, and he's starting to produce that. But I think also, and again, I noticed it more last night against Norwich. His tracking back was excellent. I thought there was a
Yeah,
couple of times where their kind of right fullback was kind of Ogilvy was occupied by somebody else, and I'd say on two if not three occasions, Murphy made up a good 10-yard
yeah,
head start, got
yeah.
back, and not just got back, won the ball, and then turned the game around. So
Yeah.
I think yeah. So I think
And
somebody said on
we
socials that about our slagging off of Murphy and how we feel about that now. And at the end of the day, I'm happy to be wrong,
oh,
happy to be
yeah, I
proven
mean,
wrong.
we've always said that about Pompey players, is that with Murphy, sort of first few games, he had that air of he's better than he was, and sort of strutting around the pitch a bit Yengi-esque.
Mm,
And
mm,
but with Pompey, if you put a shift in, even if you're not the greatest player in the world, that's what they like to see, isn't it? That
yeah,
at Fratton Park
absolutely.
especially, is people putting a shift in. And
Yeah.
now he started doing that. Yeah. Oh, what
What
are they
did you
slagging us
think?
off then on
No,
social
no,
media?
no. I think it's just a simple one line. It said something along the lines of still feeling the same about Murphy or something like that. I
Oh
can't
yeah,
remember
no,
what it
I'm
was.
more than happy to change
Admit
my
when we're
opinion.
wrong. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
admit when
Actually,
you're
let's
wrong.
not admit when we're wrong because I think we were right at the time. I think he's just, he's come on, hasn't he, in the last 4 or 5 games?
Yeah,
So it's
definitely.
excellent. Yeah,
Yeah.
very good. One other thing about last night's game before we kind of look ahead. Obviously, we knew we were going to be without Dazelle, yellow cards. Lang obviously got a silly yellow card, which was frustrating. At the end of the day, it was a yellow card, but what was frustrating, I think, about it was the fact that their captain had done exactly the same thing and in the first
Yeah.
half, booted it away. And it's kind of like, come on, ref, fair enough. That should have been a yellow, and Lang's was definitely a yellow. But
Yeah.
you've got to be consistent in these things, haven't you? And if he had been
You do,
consistent,
yeah.
their captain would have been walking at some stage because I think he did 3 or 4 bookable offences there.
Yeah. But you've
But
also got to say, just don't kick the ball away. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Get it into your
no,
head. Just don't do it.
no, especially when we were comfortable as well. We were
Yeah.
comfortably leading.
Mm.
Unnecessary, wasn't it? But yeah, I was concerned about that for last night. Paddy Lane coming in has been a bit stop-start in the up and down, and Moxon as well. First start against Norwich. How do you think they got on?
Yeah, all right. I think Lane should have done a lot better with that, with the chance.
Yeah,
I mean, he's screaming for it. Devlin puts it on a plate to him, and he just sort of scuffs his shot. That he doesn't get very good contact, and I think that maybe shows a bit of lack of confidence as well. I
yeah,
think if that's last season, he's already scored 10 goals or whatever it is in the season. He'd be putting that away. But
yeah,
yeah, he did okay. I think he'll drop to the bench, and Lang will come straight back in. And
yeah,
Moxon, I thought Moxon played better against Bristol City when he came on. I thought he looked a bit nervy last night, and I think the commentators pointed out that he looked slightly off the pace as well, which is to be expected because he hadn't played 90 minutes for a while. But yeah, I thought he did okay.
yeah. I thought he did all right.
Yeah,
I thought he did all right. That Lane chance you say about it was all you could see when it was pulled back to him. His whole everything about him was his body language. He had a shot maybe about 10 minutes earlier from further out. Ultimately it just went into a crowd, but he literally put his laces through and really got behind it. In fact, it didn't
mm,
go to a crowd. The keeper, I think it just either the keeper just turned it wide or it just went wide. I can't remember exactly what happened, but it was a decent effort. He really got some power on it. And I think had he done the same with that, then it could have, obviously would have been much more dangerous. But he approached it and it was like a side foot, wasn't it? It was like a side foot
yeah,
from the edge of the box. It's not going to trouble anyone, is it? With that,
no.
what was your view on the goal that was ruled out against
Well,
Norwich?
when I saw the replay last night, and I thought it's just a foul. I thought he just can't do it. Richie was backing into the goalie.
Okay,
Yeah, the goalie gives him a push as well, but however much you complain about it, you can't touch a goalie, can you? You can't. I
no,
mean, you can stand in front of the goalie, but as soon as you start backing into him, which is what Richie did,
right,
the
okay,
referee's going to give the free kick. But then I did see another replay today, actually from the court, sort of from the north stand, and it didn't look like he did much, but there is a replay where he's backing in, and I just thought,
can't do
if it
it.
was the other way, we'd be going, "Oh, he's touched our
Yeah,
keeper. You can't do that." So
yeah,
I just think, just don't do it. Just don't do it. I do find that with Richie, he seems a bit. It's even though he's the experienced man, he does seem to go a bit fucking
yeah.
crazy, doesn't he?
He does a few things where he just leaves a foot in and stuff like that, doesn't he?
Yeah. Mm,
Where you think it's a little bit naughty at times,
mm.
which again you don't massively mind. But yeah, that was unnecessary. I haven't seen a replay of it since my son said he thought it was a foul by Richie,
Yeah, I
whereas
can't do it.
Lucinio said he thought it was a foul on Richie. So I didn't see anything wrong at the time, but ultimately it was in a crowd, wasn't it? So you didn't really see. I just thought,
What about the penalty shout in the first half? Because I can tell you about
oh
that
yeah,
one as well if you like.
100%. I thought that was
100%
100%.
penalty? No, no,
Really?
no,
There's
no,
well,
no.
from what I saw, okay, again, I haven't seen any replays, or any highlights, but from where I was, it looked like there was no. I actually said to your brother at the time, I said it would have been soft, but he's not played the ball, and he has played the player. Are we on the
Yeah.
one about the one just on the kind of
On
left
Murphy.
wing?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, on
yeah.
Murphy. Yeah,
Yeah. Now, when I first saw it, I thought, "Oh, that's a pen," and then you watch it again, and he sort of
no,
he sort of leans in, pushes his bum into the player, and the player gives him a
Saucy.
it gives him a slight push, but I don't know.
I thought my as I say, my thought at the time was it'd be soft, but there's no attempt to play the ball from the
Yeah,
player. But I don't know.
yeah. I wouldn't
I
say
don't
it
know.
was 100% not a penalty, but I think, like you say, it would be a soft one.
Is it one of those you've seen him given sort of
Yeah,
scenario?
you've seen him given, yeah, but
But mostly not.
yeah,
Mostly not.
I don't
Fair
know.
enough. But it's good. It's 8 points. We're ninth in the form table at the moment over the last 6 games. One
Yeah,
defeat in 6. So things are looking up. My question is it's a twofold question. One, can this style of play, is this sustainable for a full season? We've been doing it for what, about 7, 8 games now? Is it sustainable for a full season?
difficult, difficult. I think with January as well, all depends who we're getting on January, what players we get in. I still don't think Pack in centre back is going to work for the season. I think he's done well in the
Mm-hmm.
was it 3 or 4 games he's played there. But I think once you get anyone with pace up there, there's going
Yeah.
to be trouble. And he does sort of drift out of his position, 2 or 3 times at least in a game. So I just think, yeah, he's doing really well, but I'm not too sure that'll work for the rest of the season. But yeah, I mean, the high press, it's going to be difficult when you've got players like Lang. You can do that. It's like you say, is it sustainable? Is it something we can do every
Is that
game
that's
for
eventually going to take a
90
toll on
minutes?
there, and we're going to end up with injuries? Is my concern, I
Well,
think.
yeah, I mean, and we're quite good at injuries as well, aren't we? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the training ground,
just
Dan. It's the training
yeah,
ground. It's the
as
Eisners,
as we speak, Preston have just gone 1-0 up against Cardiff, so that
have
puts
they?
them. Yeah, so that's we were back in the bottom three, but we're back out of the bottom three again now.
I don't know how I feel about that game, though. I kind of think it's a draw would be a good thing, 'cause Preston are in and around, aren't they? So,
Preston are on 22 points now, so they're 14th in the table with that
mm,
win. So
is it finished? Is it? Okay.
no, it's still
Um,
going.
oh, if they do win, okay,
Mm.
okay. But so it's good form. It's we're not sure whether it's sustainable. January is key, isn't it? Because we haven't got a lot other than the 11 that start, and obviously we've now got Paul. That looks like he's going to be injured. Hopefully not for very long, but he's definitely a doubt.
50-50, Mike. 50-50.
He's not going to play at the weekend. He's not
No,
playing against Derby, let's be honest.
no.
But yeah, so we've then got Paul, and I think you then look at players beyond him. Obviously, Kamara got a few minutes last night, not very many, but it looked okay when he came on, but didn't have a lot of time. But then, especially in defence, if you look, no disrespect to Towler, I like him, but he needs minutes, and he needs minutes at a lower division, doesn't he? As do a lot of players. Blair, probably Kamara, even and that means we're going to have players going out. Silvera's got to go in January, and he's got to go back. O'Mahony's clearly going to go back. So there's going to be a lot of shuffling now, I think, in January.
Yeah, I think your main thing is another striker and another centre back,
Yeah.
possibly another fullback. I mean, Ogilvy did really well last night. Thought he had one of his better games. Played
Yes.
really
Yeah.
well, but we need competition for places, don't we? And at the
Yeah.
minute, that back forward, that's all we've got. Although
And it's just
McIntyre
so
played really well as well when he came on.
yeah, back in the he did do well. He did do well. I just think with Ogilvy, it's just his lack of pace, isn't it, where he struggles. I think if he had pace, he'd probably be quite comfortable at this level. But I think he's 100%er, but he just doesn't have that pace, and there's a lot of pace in the championship, isn't there?
Mm.
Anyway, but it's good stuff. We are looking good. We're currently out of the bottom four. It's onwards and upwards, hopefully, for Portsmouth. We've got Derby County this weekend at Pride Park on Friday night on Sky. Do you remember last time we played them on Sky on a Friday night? It was at Fratton Park.
Yeah, that was 2-2, wasn't it?
2-2. No, we won 2-0. That was when Yengi got the
Oh,
goal
not
against.
last season. No, that's Bolton, mate.
Oh, it was Bowen. It was.
Yeah, edit that. Moxon, wasn't it? That was an evening game. That
Yes.
wasn't a Friday.
Yeah.
Moxon
No.
equalised, didn't he?
You're right. Yeah. It's the white kit. It's just white kit, dark
Yeah,
shorts.
true.
That's what happens when you get to my age. Anyway, we'll wrap this up now. I think on that note. But yeah, it's good form for Pompey. Long may it continue, and we'll be back later this week with a preview of that Derby game. But for now, play out Pompey. Goodbye.
Bye.